Anything, show.
The thing that frustrates me this time is I was going to do it to you. And you still fucking got me on it.
Anything's talked about, anything happens, M.E. Damn, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Lots happened. A lot has happened.
What's happening? Do you have something to say, Stephanie?
You know, a lot.
A lot since the last podcast has happened. Dear God.
This hasn't been 7 months.
So we had a comment brought up to us by
Some fuckboy. You can edit that out. That was mean. That seemed like it came from an angry place.
a
It's gonna be funny, but not at all.
a respectable viewer, who will remain anonymous. So Miguel says, Witcher. There's a little bit of a controversy going on.
Yeah, people are mad that a black person's going to be in a white person show.
Yeah.
What else is new?
Yeah, blackwashing. That's apparently a thing that certain groups of people are trying to make into a thing.
So pretty much just the crux of it is there's that new Netflix show that's about the Witcher books, which were turned into a game that is incredibly popular. Henry Cavill's playing this sort of demon hunter, and then in the story there are like 2 ladies that he bounces around, like it's got like a love triangle thing going on, and they're looking to cast one of them as a person of color, and people aren't happy about it. A lot of them are pretty much just saying, well, because is it a Danish series?
I don't know.
It's some sort of Scandinavian region. It's not like Norway and it's not Sweden. I think it's Danish.
Baltic region?
No, not the Baltics. That's a different area. But
It's just a podcast called that.
ding. I can understand why people are like, why are we doing, why do this? But at the same time, I don't really think it matters too much because it's a show about fighting demons and ghosts and vampires and shit. Like, it's not really based in reality. It's not set in a Nordic country in the 1100s.
Yeah.
Where, there probably wouldn't be a noble black family there.
Yeah.
It's just a made-up fantasy thing. I don't think you need to get your panties twisted up about it.
Yeah, here, I think we run into... I think... okay, so in today's society, we're definitely like... Everything about race or ethnicity is like put on a extremely big pedestal. And, it's hypersensitized for certain reasons that may or may not be good reasons, depending on the context, I guess. And this one, I think it's just like one of those things where it doesn't matter. I think in certain circumstances, you can't change a character's race or ethnicity because it's largely impacting like the way the character's viewed.
Yeah.
So like, if Marvel were to do Miles Morales, it would not make sense to like cast a very light-skinned like Puerto Rican kid or Latino kid as the character because his blackness has a lot to do with the character.
Yeah.
If they were to do a Spider-Man 2099 and do Miguel O'Hara but have like a very light-skinned Mexican or Spanish dude or Irish guy portray him, it wouldn't necessarily be a huge issue because Miguel O'Hara, though he's half Mexican, half Irish, his identity isn't necessarily what makes the character. He'll drop in the comics like a Spanish slang every now and then.
They'll speak in Spanglish.
Yeah, but it's not like brown power. Like it's not a defining characteristic. Like, you know. So though I would love for him to be portrayed by an actual like Mexican character, and then maybe incorporate, you know, some of the culture into it. That's a completely different topic, but nonetheless, it wouldn't harm the development of the character. I don't believe that these characters that we're getting from The Witcher are very tied into like their ethnicity. So it's not like they're having an issue conceptualizing their whiteness or their like privilege in a certain space. I think they're just characters who go off hunting fucking demons and shit. So
yeah, I think there are two parts of it. One is, like I said, I don't play the games. I don't know a lot about this, but from what I've been reading, I've read a little bit about it. Is these books are incredibly important to, again, I can't remember the fucking country, the Danish population, and it's not like they have a whole lot that is culturally impactful. So a lot of it is we just want this product that we love and that means a lot to us and expresses a lot about our history should be represented in the way that it was done, and not just have to do some sort of grab at cultural diversity at the expense of the truth of the character. So that's what people are trying to say. Mm-hmm. And I think there's some validity to that. At the same time, I don't have an association with the product or the country, so I don't really have the right words to.
See, I didn't know that. So if this is based off of like Danish or Scandinavian lore, I don't know.
It's a huge series of books, and it's like sort of set in that region.
Okay.
Like sort of, mm-hmm. But it is still sort of like a high fantasy.
Yeah.
World of magic and dragons and shit. So
okay, so if that is true, then I can absolutely understand what the backlash in that country is.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is okay, now it's making a little bit more sense for me. If it's a mythos of like their cultural, like, I guess, legends and stories that have been passed down and everything, then I can understand why, changing the character may be an issue. If it's something that between book to game, like the lore has been changed, mm-hmm. and then you're changing it from, game to movie or to live action, I mean, I don't know.
I think what everybody wants, people who are cool with this change and people who aren't, they just want the story to be good and the show to be good. Yeah. And so if the change, like, they just don't want the change to be like some superfluous thing that mm-hmm. is, we're just trying to look like we're super inclusive, because, I mean, like, one of the biggest hits on Game of Thrones for the past 7 years is like, it's just a bunch of white people. The only people who are people of color have been slaves. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a huge knock. So if they're trying to have like a high fantasy, like swords and magic show, they would want to be like learn from some of the mistakes of Game of Thrones, and they might try to change it. But if that's all they're doing it for, that's not really a help to the story. But if the change of her race isn't like, I don't know. If they're gonna do it, it should matter into the show, and it should just be a way to elevate the show rather than just them being like, hey, look, we're inclusive. We've got this one person we can point to that we're doing all this stuff. Yeah.
No, that makes more sense. I had not known that it was possibly or probably based off of like their lore. So
and I'm sort of just extrapolating on the little that I know. Yeah.
So then, I guess bouncing off of that, very coincidentally, Henry Cavill may not be returning as Superman, and to tie in with this conversation, they may be doing, I guess, technical race chains, even though, yeah, I guess technically to Superman, because they have announced that, or rumor is, I guess, because DC nor Henry have actually come out and announced anything, but rumor is DC wants to bring on Michael B. Jordan as Superman.
Yeah, this story, when I texted you about it, it was like the very beginnings of it, and it seemed like it was going to be a lot more than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because as it's gone on and people have actually been investigating this, it's more of just like some anonymous source who's like, could be literally anybody at Warner Brothers.
His agent.
No, his agent
Okay.
came out and said, none of this has been is confirmable. Like, we have no, like, Superman is saying, like, no, he's not been cut as Superman, and we have not left the Superman thing.
Okay.
And like Warner Brothers came out with a statement pretty much saying negotiations are still ongoing about this happening. So, excuse me. So it's just some random person who is an anonymous source said to some website that Henry Cavill's out and that's it. And then everybody jumped on it because clickbait and could blow it out of proportion. And then that was followed up by pretty much saying, hey, let's get the most like coveted male actor out there right now and put him as Superman. That sounds like a great idea. And then everybody's just gonna keep being in a tizzy about this and keep this going for a week long. As it's gone, I don't think Henry Cavill is necessarily out yet.
Me neither.
And I don't think Michael B. Jordan should be Superman.
So why?
For a number of things.
Okay, so why don't you think he should be? So, assuming all of this is true,
Okay.
why
We're
don't
living
you,
in a world where this happened.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's out and we're recasting. it.
So why don't you think he should be?
I think he's
Racist.
I was gonna put it in a better way.
I'm
but
just playing.
He doesn't.
No, what?
He can't do it. I think he's bigger than Superman. Like, I think where he is right now and the choices he's made and the characters he's done, I think if he goes and plays Superman, it's a step down for him in his career.
Wow. Okay.
Because, I mean, what's a bad movie Michael B. Jordan has done other than Fan Four Stick? Which isn't even his fault.
Yeah. And he was
still
arguably
high
the-
charisma.
Yeah, and he was arguably the best thing of that movie.
Like, Michael B. Jordan commits to a role and acts his tits off every time, and he's great. And
So is
because of his like ferocity and the passion he puts into everything and how he believes everything that he's doing, like Fruitvale
Yeah.
Station, Creed, Killmonger, they're all passionate, like, I don't know. I'm saying words that do describe Superman, like, he's a fighter and he believes in things. But, like, yeah, Superman does those things, but I feel like it won't allow Michael B. Jordan to have the full range of talent that he can, show.
Especially with DC
Yeah,
or Warner Bros.
because nobody knows what the fuck's going on with that, and I don't want him tied to that sinking show. Until they figure out what the fuck they're doing, I don't need him done to that. And also, I don't want him, like, locked into, like, a 5-movie contract and then limits other great things he can do. Like, I was fine with Henry Cavill doing it because I liked him enough, but
Yeah.
also he only did, like, one other movie every 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't really doing much else. Like, Michael B. Jordan's great and should be working all the time.
Yeah.
And if he's locked in this contract, if he's not shooting the movie, he's doing press for this movie.
Yeah, and he comes off as just like that busybody. Like he just wants to be doing all of this work. So
And because I feel like he just wants to be great.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
He
yeah.
seems super driven.
Yeah. So I had a small, very minuscule, like quick back and forth with a friend of mine on Facebook, on my personal page, and they were like, I don't feel Michael B. Jordan should be Superman because he plays a better villain. And I was like, I mean, here's the thing. I think the person is being moderately biased because of whatever reason, but I mean, I don't know if they've seen Michael B. Jordan's stuff truly, because here's the thing, again, Van Forstic was not good. Like,
Yeah.
it was not good. But he played a fantastic, pun intended,
Still better than how they came up with the name.
he played a fantastic Human Torch. Like, it was really
Human
good.
Shorts?
Human Torch.
You said shorts.
So he plays a great
A great Finn Shorts.
Fuck. And then he's really good in Fruitville Station.
Yeah.
And then sure, Killmonger's the antagonist in that movie, but he plays a sort of like anti-hero to certain, I guess, people's point of views in life and in just culturally.
He's playing an emotion more than like an act, like what a real human would be.
True. Yeah. And yeah.
And he does it great. He does it incredibly well.
And then of course he's Creed. He's fucking Creed's son in Creed. So like it's like I don't see how this person understood.
It's probably just because like they're thinking of the superhero genre, and the only thing they've seen Michael B. Jordan in because nobody saw Fan Forstic. So the only thing that you saw him do was play Killmonger in one of the most popular movies of the year.
Yeah.
So he's probably just associating him with that, and it's like, oh, he should always be playing villains. When
here's the other reason why I think that there's some kind of bias to that, because literally 2 comments down, he responds to another person and says, "Oh, but I think he'll be a great Green Lantern." And that's why I'm like, dude, like, I don't get how you think he's great at only playing villains, don't think that he's gonna be a good Superman, and then tell me that he's gonna be a great Green Lantern, obviously referring to Jon Stewart. So it's like, there's obvious, like, discrepancies with that comment, and by no reason do I think this person is discriminatory, but I think there's certain biases that certain people do have that unfortunately play out, and they're not even fully aware of. So I mean, it was like, that's it. That's kind of where the comment and commentary just cut off, because I was just like, there's no reason to dig into this. But here's now, I guess, my opinion and my personal view. I think it would be great for him to step into a Superman role, not with the current, I guess, runnings with Warner Bros., but in some kind of like near future, if he were to play a Superman, I would be 100% down with it, because of the fact that I think Superman is just bland. It's so bland.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?